Welcome to True Reddit, revenge stories where lies, betrayal, and shocking payback come alive. These are real stories from Redditrial drama, real revenge and twists that will leave you speechless. Hit subscribe and turn on the bell, because you won't want to miss a single shocking story. The clock on my nightstand blinked to 3 a.m. when my eyes opened without warning. There was no nightmare, no loud sound, no reason, just a violent awareness that something was wrong. The darkness in the room felt thick, like smoke. I lay there staring at the ceiling, trying to slow my breathing beside me. Mark slept on his side, facing the wall, his breathing slow and steady, too steady for a moment. I almost laughed at myself. Maybe it was anxiety, maybe it was nothing. Then I heard it, a faint vibration. Low and distant but deliberate, it came again. A mechanical pulse cutting through the silence, not from our bedroom, from downstairs. My heart began to thud painfully against my ribs. We never left electronics on at night. Mark was obsessive about it. Lights off, doors, locked phones charging on the kitchen counter. Always the same routine, but this vibration was not part of the routine. I slid out of bed, slowly, careful not to disturb him. My feet touched the wooden floor, and it felt icy the hallway. Outside, the bedroom seemed darker than usual, as if the shadows had moved closer. I stood there listening. The vibration came again, longer this time. It was coming from the basement, and then I saw it, a thin blade of light cutting across the hallway. Floor from beneath the basement door. We never left that light on. Never. A wave of nausea rolled through me. I walked toward it slowly, each step echoing louder than it should have. Halfway down the hall, I realized something else. The bedroom door behind me had not made a sound when I closed it, meaning Mark might not be in bed anymore. My chest tightened. I reached the basement door and pressed my ear against it. I could hear movement. A chair scraping lightly, and then a whisper, "No, she is still asleep." My entire body went cold. That was Mark. He was not whispering to me, he was whispering to someone else at 2 a.m. In the basement, I turned the knob slowly. The hinges creaked softly as the door opened. The basement light flooded my eyes. Mark was sitting at the old wooden workbench with his back to me, his shoulders hunched. A second phone lay in his hand, not the one he used every day. A different one, black, unfamiliar, disposable looking. It vibrated again. He spoke quietly into it. I said, "She is asleep, stop texting." There was irritation in his voice, not fear, not surprise. I stepped forward and the floorboard creaked. His head snapped around for a split second. Our eyes locked, and what I saw there was not guilt, it was calculation. "What are you doing awake?" he asked. His tone was flat. I could not answer immediately. My throat felt tight. "Who are you talking to, Mark?" He stood up too quickly, knocking the chair slightly. "It is work you would not understand at 2 in the morning." In the basement with a secret phone, he walked toward me slowly, holding the device at his side. "Go back upstairs," he said. "You need sleep." The way he said it sent a chill through me. It sounded rehearsed, controlled, like he had practiced calm. The phone vibrated again. This time the screen lit up bright enough for me to see a name saved as unknown, but beneath it, a message preview: "Is everything ready?" My stomach twisted violently, ready for what. I stepped around him and grabbed the phone before he could react. He tried to pull it back, but I held on for a second. We struggled silently, then I saw the screen fully, dozens of messages. Bank confirmations, transfer receipts, conversations about timing, about risk, about payout, and then I saw the document: my life insurance policy, recently updated, increased coverage, changed beneficiary, only his name. I felt like the world had shifted under my feet. "When did you change this?" he said. "Nothing." He just stared at me. I kept scrolling. There were notes about my routine, my medication, my morning tea, my evening wine. My heart began pounding so hard I felt dizzy. The dizziness, the nausea I had blamed on stress, the headaches, the way I had almost fainted last week. I looked up slowly. "What have you been doing to me?" he exhaled sharply. "You were never supposed to see that." The sentence hung in the air like a death sentence. "See what?" He ran his hand over his face. "Things got complicated, like I was a spreadsheet, like my life was a business deal. You were going to kill me." My voice barely rose above a whisper. He did not deny it. He only said it would have looked natural. An accident or an illness, something no one would question. The calmness in his voice terrified me more. Then, if he had screamed, I stepped backward. Toward the stairs, my legs felt weak, my mind racing. How long had he been planning this? How many nights had he kissed me goodnight already? Knowing how many dinners had we shared while he calculated my worth? You are scaring yourself, he said. You are twisting this, but his eyes were cold. There was no warmth left. I turned and ran up the stairs. He followed slower, almost casually, like he believed I had nowhere to go. I grabbed my phone from the kitchen counter and dialed emergency services. My fingers shook so badly I almost dropped it. He lunged forward, trying to grab my wrist. I screamed. A raw, desperate scream that tore through the house. Neighbors' lights flicked on outside. Dogs barked violently. He froze for a second. Witnesses. He hated witnesses. To hang up to talk this out, but I kept talking, kept describing everything. The basement, the phone, the policy, the messages. Sirens began to echo faintly in the distance. His calm mask finally cracked. You just ruined everything, he hissed. Everything, like my death was a project. Police arrived quickly. They entered the basement. I collected the phone. They photographed the documents. They found small containers hidden behind storage boxes, substances measured, carefully labeled in code. Enough to make anyone sick over time, enough to make someone fade slowly. He was arrested before sunrise. As they placed him in handcuffs, he finally looked shaken, not because he regretted it, but because he failed. In the days that followed, investigators uncovered more secret gambling debts, online accounts, conversations with someone who called him partner, plans discussed in detail, dosages, dates, expected payout amounts. He had turned my life into an investment. The betrayal cut deeper than fear ever could. The man I trusted with everything had been calculating my expiration date. The trial lasted months. I sat in that courtroom every single day, listening to experts explain how small doses over time can weaken a body without immediate suspicion. Listening to prosecutors describe my marriage as a strategy. Mark avoided my eyes. The same man who once held my hand in public, now unable to look at me under fluorescent lights. When the verdict came back, guilty on all counts, the courtroom felt strangely silent. No dramatic reaction, no shouting, just the sound of his breath leaving his lungs, as if someone had punched him. He was sentenced to decades in prison, a lifetime measured in locked doors and surveillance cameras. The irony was brutal. He had installed cameras around our home, claiming they were for protection. Now he would live under constant watch, every movement recorded, every conversation monitored. The control he craved stripped away. Sometimes I still wake at 2 a.m., my heart racing, my ears straining for vibrations that are not there. But now, when I open my eyes, I feel something. Different strength, because that night could have been my end. Instead, it became his. And the truth did not just change my life, it saved it. He thought he was patient. He thought he was clever. He thought I would never wake up. But karma has its own alarm clock, and when it rings, no one sleeps through it.
Subscribe so you don't miss the next story, because what's coming next is even deeper. And press the bell icon, so YouTube actually tells you when a new video drops, not hours later. Your support means more than you know. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.